Coach Wright is in the building, bringing it real, empowering leaders and helping people heal. Bring your mindset to strategies, we're making big moves, kicking holes and barriers, and whatever you choose. We got tips, got tools, and we're writing no rules. It's all about you, so don't be sad and blue, cause it's your time to rise and take control. Navigating real life from the depths of your soul.
Welcome to Join the Conversation with Coach Wright. I'm your host, Certified Recovery and Executive Coach Kurinn Wright. This empowering podcast offers real-world wisdom, actionable advice, and insightful conversations for those navigating life's most challenging journeys. This show is dedicated to fostering growth and transformation for individuals across all walks of life: youth, women, men, corporate employees, stay-at-home parents, and empty nesters, and beyond. These are some of the demographics I've coached over the past 15 plus years, and I've worked with clients from diverse backgrounds all over the world. My experience spans higher education, relationship dynamics, mental health, and behavioral health, equipping me to help individuals overcome obstacles, build confidence, and create lasting change in their lives. As a mentor, speaker, and writer, I combine my deep knowledge with lived experience, always modeling my coaching. Each episode will cover a range of topics from relationship growth to mental wellness, professional development, personal development, you name it, and you'll find it here. Tune in for inspiring discussions and conversations with real people, expert interviews, and actionable tips to help you show up fully and authentically in every area of your life. In honor of today's topic, Coach Wright is in the building. I'll be sharing my journey and helping you to understand the experiences that have shaped me into the leader and the coach I am today. I'll also be giving you a glimpse into some tools and philosophies and insights I bring to my coaching practice and to this podcast. So, who am I? I'm a coach, writer, and entrepreneur. I hold a bachelor's in business and human resource management. I have a nearly 15-year background working in higher education, as well as a 15-year background in coaching. My journey started back when I was working for a private university. In those last 5 years, I was working in a high-pressure role dedicated to keeping individuals in school. Age range 18 to 65. And my job was to develop action plans alongside academic plans. Anywhere between 200 to 400 action plans every 10 weeks. I loved my job, but I hated the pressure. Fast pace, stressful environment, lots of work to do. But that role primed me for who I am today. In 2013, I got laid off from that job. I'd been praying to be an entrepreneur for 2 years before that. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be an entrepreneur. And I had no clue what I wanted to do. Someone asked me after I got laid off if I wanted to be a life coach, and I said, ew, no. Coaching was newer back then. This was back in 2013. Coaching was just coming on the rise. I didn't want to be associated with what people were thinking about coaching until someone said to me, well, you've been coaching for the last 5 years at that university. And all of a sudden, that no turned into an absolutely yes. If that's the title of what I was doing, then I will do it, because that role didn't have that title. But I loved the role. And so I pursued executive coaching, launched a business coaching company alongside another person, and we ran that company working with entrepreneurs. If you wanted to start your own business, we were the people to work with. But there was something missing. And I couldn't put my finger on it. There were a couple of things that weren't really working the way I imagined them. And one was that I was missing the life coaching piece. I was missing the life problems and challenges and sorting through how to help someone navigate a path forward. So after deciding what needed to happen with that business, I dissolved it. And in 2017, Coach Wright Consulting was born. I began to consider what I would be doing as a life coach because it was very different than business coaching. Business coaching is straightforward. You want to be an entrepreneur? Okay, let's follow these steps and get you there. But life is so complex. And how do people know they need a life coach? How do I attract people? So I said, you know what? Let me focus on figuring out what I want to do with my practice first. So I unplugged my life in 2018 and I traveled the world. I lived in the Dominican Republic for 60 days and realized it's no fun when you don't speak Spanish. But I did create a life there. I had a neighborhood coffee shop I would visit daily. I had people who knew me in the, touristy area that I was living in. I loved my condo. The backyard was the beach. It was beautiful. And I was attempting to learn Spanish at the guard shack every day when I would leave. And so there were perks, but I needed something different. So I moved to Jamaica and I lived there for the next 90 days. So while living in Jamaica, life opened up. I met a wonderful woman named Valerie, lived in her Airbnb. She read my books. She encouraged me to finish my novel that I had been saying I was going to retire, move to an island and write. But why not finish it there? And I did. I completed my 97,000 word novel on that island with the encouragement of the people and the energy around me. I've been a writer since I was 9. I wrote my first poem when my grandmother passed away. I didn't really understand death. I didn't really understand all of the confused emotions, but I wrote my first poem. At 14, I started writing R&B and rap music. In my 20s, I started writing short stories. In my 30s, I started writing books and novels. And here I am now. I've written screenplays. Most of these things aren't even published yet, but the writer in me desires to be free, so I let her. So now here I am in Jamaica, not only finishing writing this book, but having someone to read it and enjoy every word. She also read a book I'd written years ago, back in 2016, called Shine in Your Lane. She read that, shared it with everyone she knew, and tells me, "You're speaking at my church." And I just said, okay. And I ended up speaking at her church on several occasions, including Youth Day. And from there, I decided, you know what? I want to interact with some schools while I'm out here, not necessarily colleges, but I did get in touch with the high school, Spot Valley High. And I taught on entrepreneurship. But what I ended up realizing was that I went in with the idea to teach these youth something about entrepreneurship, but I really left having learned something from them. Economics is different in different countries. Culture is different. And you can read about it all day, but to have lived experiences where you're teaching and learning, that's something that I consider priceless in my journey and transformative. Come back to the United States, and now here we are on the cusp of COVID. I had to really consider again, what do I do with my practice? But I had updated my website while I was on the island. I got work coming to me when I came back, but that wasn't sustainable. I needed to find my footing, and so I decided to pursue contract work. And from there, I ended up working a marriage coaching contract. And with this company, I became a part of the hiring process. I was training their coaches and therapists on how to navigate through these clients. I was leading groups and creating content before I left that company. As a result of having worked there, I continued to build on my experience with navigating marriage, relationships, and couples. And I developed a program called Relationship Repair, which extends to corporate leaders. It extends to relationships on the personal side, interpersonal. And I'm really proud of that work and how it translates. I've also worked a mental health contract for 5 years, and I'm still working in the space of behavioral health. I'm a certified recovery coach working with individuals with problem gambling and gambling addiction. I've developed a program called Package Your Talent as a wink to my executive and business coaching, where I help people who have skills that want to present themselves in a way where they can generate income. They have the package together and the face of it together, and now they're out there making money. And I also have a walkthrough called Doing the Math. If you have a complex problem that you need to solve, my program considers your well-being, your mental health, and it considers a barrage of other things that brings you out with solutions, and multiple, so that you're not stuck at the all or nothing thinking. So my coaching journey has been a layered development that has brought me to a place where I have no choice but to share some of the deepest, most impactful things that I've learned. And just revisiting the recovery coaching, I am co-host to a podcast called Breaking Up with Addiction, providing coaching and therapy for problem gamblers and those with gambling addiction. I am also a mentor to a number of successful individuals. And I've worked with nonprofits. I still work with a couple of nonprofits in Birmingham, Alabama. I've worked with several here in Atlanta. And I'm a dog mom, a proud dog mom to a nearly 13-year-old Yorkie named Max, who has kept me grounded. So, who am I as a coach? Well, my philosophy is simple. It's all about empowerment, clarity, and action. As someone who started out developing action plans for other people, I've had the question so many times when people would ask, how did you unplug your life and move away and come back and replug in and keep going? How is it that you've continued to consistently be an entrepreneur for over 10 years with how things are going and you didn't go back to a corporate job? I am someone who takes my own medicine. I don't just coach clients, I coach Kurinn. And I start everything out with an action plan. If you can have a plan and envision your way there, creating flexibility within there for you and always revisiting that plan, how much can really stop you from achieving your goals? What sets me apart as a coach is not just the training and lived experience I have, it's the people that I've coached, and it's the thousands of individuals between the years of 2009 to date. I've been where many of my clients have been. I faced struggles, setbacks, and uncertainty. But those experiences didn't define me, they refined me. And now I use them to help others overcome their own obstacles. Our time together is all about creating a space for real conversations, growth, and transformation. Whether you're navigating leadership, relationships, or personal growth, remember that you hold the power to shape your world. My role in that is to provide tips, tools, insights, and encouragements you need to take the actions and build the life you deserve. I'm also opening up a space for anonymous questions for those who are interested in writing in. If you or anyone you know has questions about life, relationship, mental health, or business and entrepreneurship and would like unbiased, non-judgmental feedback, feel free to send them to me at jointheconversationwcw@gmail.com. Please include a pen name or initials if you'd like to remain anonymous. Otherwise, include your first name. I will select a few questions to answer during different episodes. If you're curious about my other services, visit www.kwrightcoaching.com. And remember, the conversation doesn't stop here. Stay tuned for our first official episode launching on June 30th, Unlocking Your Potential. Until next time, join the conversation with Coach Wright.
Stay a while and subscribe.